Okay, I gotta keep this quick because my son is gonna be leaving to go take a test soon, and he's gonna drop me off so I can get my car from the shop. So I gotta be ready to go. But I got stuff to share, and I want to get it shared now instead of later. So, or at least get it recorded and then share it later, whatever. I have notes, yes, because I'm trying to share a good news story. What we seek is what we find. What we focus on is what we grow. So the question is what you're seeking, what you're looking for, the evidence that you're looking to prove things are as they are, and what you're focusing on and growing, are they serving you, or are they creating stress, anxiety, discord, unhappiness in your life? And this is all based off of, I was talking with my coach today, because Christmas this year is not going to look like it should look, but it's because of good things. And I've been attaching it to looking through a lens of things in the past and looking at those in a way that has not been serving me. So I am looking for evidence of new meaning that does serve me. So let's rewind. Let's go back to the past a little bit. I was in the United States Navy from 2001 to 2007. I literally went off to boot camp while Orion was a baby, and then went to school, to basic boot camp school, and then hit my ship. And then I got pregnant with Kristen, went to Shore Command, and then moved on to my next ship. At the second ship, that's when my now ex-husband left. He actually took our 2 kids and just packed up the vehicle, took my dogs, took my computer, my everything, drained my bank accounts, and while I was on duty, and took the car that was in my name, the only vehicle we had, and took off to Wisconsin from Virginia while I was on duty. We at the time had been living paycheck to paycheck, which was just the way of life for me. Like, I was very used to having to decide between paying the full electric bill or getting diapers. Like, we need to get some groceries and toilet paper. Maybe we just don't pay something else all the way. Like, we'll pay it more later sometime. That was the life. It was very stressful. And yes, that is working in the U.S. Navy, and I was not a lower pay grade. I mean, I got all the way up to E5. And I mean, okay, don't get me started. That's a different story. But don't bitch about people on food stamps and stuff, because your U.S. military members are on food stamps and WIC. Anyways, back at it. Okay, here we are. Eventually, I was dating this dude. So in 2006, let me just cap it off for you. 2006, I was stuck living with a guy who was cheating on me with a coworker that we had. But I was stuck with him staying in the house. I couldn't even kick him out because he was helping pay the bills, and I couldn't afford to pay the bills and put food on the table and stuff without him there helping too. So I was stuck. Meanwhile, I'm going through a divorce over, interstate, and when he left, he wasn't the only time he drained the bank account. I had to go underway shortly after, and he drained the bank account again. So I had overdraft fees. I had fees from my mortgage company. I had all this insufficient fund fees, and it was a hot mess. I was a hot mess, and I was going to visit my kids for Christmas, and I had no way of even getting them anything for Christmas. And so luckily, Danny Baisden, who was a shipmate down in the plant with me, he learned of my issues with Christmas for the kids, and he took it upon himself to run a toy drive for my kids. And so he got everybody in on getting stuff for my kids for Christmas, and let me tell you, it was like one of the best Christmases that my kids ever had. as children. Thank you, Danny. I never really expressed it enough because I just didn't know how, and I was so embarrassed, and I felt so upset with myself that I felt like a failure as a mom. So it was really hard for me to acknowledge the situation. But thank you very much, Danny, and all the other shipmates that helped out, because you guys really seriously hooked my kids up, and they had such an amazing Christmas, which was awesome considering all the bullshit that was going on in our lives at that time. Well, then that was 2006 Christmas. By 2007 Christmas, it was looking like we were going to be spending it in a homeless shelter, me and my kids, because I was out of the Navy. I was back up here. My sister and my mom had kicked me out of my sister's house right before Thanksgiving. There's a prior video about that. And we were living in a homeless shelter. I actually came down with strep throat. I was super sick. I was working. I was trying to find a place, and thankfully, I'm telling you, Rental Resources of Eau Claire, talk to John DeRosa. If you want a good landlord, that's where you go. If you have pets, they're so pet friendly. As long as you're a good tenant, like, he totally respects you for that. I'm serious. I got a hold of him after I'd talked to many landlords, and I was on break. I remember I was sitting on break at this horrible job, and I flat out told him on the phone, I'm like, I'm just going to be realistic with you. Me and my kids are living in a homeless shelter right now, and I really don't want them to spend their Christmas there. And he had me hooked up with a place, and I lived there for like the next, 6-7 years, John? I can't remember it, but I was there a very long time. He was a great landlord. But we got in there just in time for Christmas. I couldn't afford any Christmas presents because the Navy had like taken a bunch of my money. Took me a minute to start getting paychecks, and then now I'm paying first month's rent and security deposit, in which case my quasi-boyfriend at the time actually helped me with the security deposit because the homeless shelter refused to. That's another story. And I remember coming home with the kids from work or something after picking them up from wherever. But I was getting on my way home, and here he had left a Christmas tree outside the house. He surprised us because he knew I couldn't get a Christmas tree. So he left us a Christmas tree. And I had applied for Salvation Army or something to be able to have toys for the kids, for something under the Christmas tree, because I couldn't get them stuff. I believe I got them like an air hockey table, a really cheap ass one from Walmart that ended up going to shit. So that was back then, and I really felt like a freaking failure. And you know what's weird though is my kids don't ever like tell me like, man, our life sucked and that Christmas sucked or anything. I'm pretty sure I remember it way more than they do. And here is the thing though, like, we went through that shit. We went through that, but there's such good things that came from it. There were so many good people that helped out while I was still in the Navy to make sure that my kids had a good Christmas. John hooked me up with being able to have our own place for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, so that we didn't spend it in a homeless shelter and with a bunch of other homeless people. No offense to other homeless people. It's just we wanted to be like with family and loved ones, and and it was weird to be in a homeless shelter for us. And now I'm looking at, I am currently going to pick up my car because a tire blew out, and might as well just get all new tires, and that was money I was not expecting to spend, over $500. And I actually was I've been working on getting money pulled together to pay the contractor who's coming soon, because right now my living room and dining room tore up. Prior post about that too, you can see it. We painted Christmas decorations on the wall that still needs to be demolished because we weren't able to put up the Christmas tree and stuff like we normally would. So that's like a good like I may not be able to afford to put a lot of presents underneath the Christmas tree that we eventually will have up, probably last minute before Christmas. But it's because I'm paying a mortgage. I'm paying to take care of my pets and my kids, and I'm paying the bills. I'm having to pay to take care of my car. And I'm paying to do this amazing remodel downstairs so that we have this lovely space to spend quality family time in. And very easy to lose sight of these good news things because it's just easy to lose sight of that stuff because we get so caught up in the what should be done and what could be done, and we forget about the most basic things. And there was going to be a lot more that I was going to share on this, but for some reason I have like a 13-minute timer set on my recorder, and we're getting close to that. So here is the deal. I have failed a ton, and yet here I am. It's so weird because I'm constantly like, look at me, I'm failing at this, I'm failing at that. But there really is something to be said about failing forward. And the harder you're failing, like if you're literally failing forward and you're learning from these experiences, it's not actually failing. Just like the invention of that light bulb, it wasn't like he just figured it out right off the bat. I mean, he found numerous ways to not make a light bulb work before he actually got that light bulb working. And it's the same with life. I mean, and to think that I was, in 2007, I was in a homeless shelter at this time and with my kids. And I forget these things. We had a shit car that actually got repossessed within a year after we moved into our place. I filed bankruptcy that following year. A lot of shit. And I was dependent on piece of shit guys to help me out because I couldn't take care of myself. And now I'm sitting here and I'm holding my own. And granted, I've borrowed money from my kids, and I probably will have to borrow some more money. We don't know. I haven't figured it all out yet. I've got shit figured out all the way through tomorrow. So that's progress. But keeping that open mind and looking at things to be able to see, look for the evidence, find new meaning, and look for the evidence to prove those new meanings, not the bullshit old stories that we've told ourselves. We can always learn new stories and become stronger and happier. We don't need to continue to live in the old stories. They don't serve us. I was not a very happy person back then. I was definitely a lot darker and less hopeful. But I've always had this stubbornness to me that's turned into a serious resilience, and that's what keeps me going. And it's not something that you have to have given to you. You grow it. You grow your resilience. Thanks for listening.